My magazine I created for my AS Media Studies coursework is called ALT. I named it this because ALT is a shortened word for alternative, which is a subgenre of my magazine, as well as indie. Alt is also very short, as I imagined my masthead bold and eye-catching, and this effect is easier to pull off with a shorter word. Examples of this effect being successful are in magazines such as NME and Q. The name of my magazine relates to my preferred reading, said by Stuart Hall 1980, which is indie and alternative, as it would be indie and alternative hipsters purchasing my magazine, so this name would be in their social language. My magazine has a 58% ABC1 percentage. This is so high because my target age group being 16 to 24-year-olds will have more disposable income from part-time jobs, student loans, student grants and the traditional pocket money. The magazine pages I have completed as part of my coursework include a front cover, contents page, title page and double page spread. During the process of creating these pages, I have pastiched the codes and conventions of the popular music magazines NME, Q and Kerrang. I chose these particular magazines because the genres are similar to my magazine and so is the target audience. However, I challenged some of the codes and conventions of these magazines because both of their target audiences were predominantly males, whereas mine is predominantly females. Therefore, I changed some elements. For my front cover, I pastiched one of NME's front covers for the layout but changed the colour because the colours were very masculine and not suitable for my audience. In my front cover I included my branded masthead in the top left hand corner like NME does, a main cover line, a main cover image behind it creating an anchorage said by Roland Barthes 1979. In my main cover image my model is looking in a direct gaze, which is a code and convention of all music magazines in order to pull in the reader and a particular audience. I have challenged stereotypes with my main cover image because in the magazines I have pastiched, they nearly always have a male on the front cover, whereas mine has a female, because my magazine is targeted at females, which is again challenging stereotypes because most indie magazines are aimed at males. I have aimed it purposely at females because there is a gap in the market for an indie magazine aimed at females, and also to change something about the magazines I have pastiched. A plug is located in the banner stating free posters available in the magazine. This was done in capital letters to grab the reader's eye and make it stand out, and my banner has a black box background over it to make it stand out more. It also has the official Leeds Festival logo in it as part of a giveaway. The barcode is located in the bottom left corner. This is a similar position to the NME front cover, however I placed it flat against the bottom of the page so it would be easier and simpler to read the price. A large shape has been placed on the left side under the masthead that I have placed my photos in to make anchorages and for more information of what is inside the magazine. The colour scheme of my front page is different to the one I pastiched because of the different target audience like I mentioned earlier. Although my house style is portrayed with the red masthead, black banner and white text, although I have included the colour yellow in order to make it different from the rest of my front covers of my magazine because I just went by the house style. They would all look very similar. This is also what NME has done. My font type overall on my front cover is sans serif, meaning that there is no flakes on the letters, making the words bold and clearer to read and also stand out. My model on my front cover acts as an ideal self, said by Carl Rogers. This is because of her dominant pose filling up the page and her pouting facial expression. The ideal self implies that the audience is aspiring to be the model. The model being an ideal self also relates to her being a star persona, said by Richard Dyer, 1975, meaning that the famous person is known more than just a singer. In this case, Alice Cole is known for her festival appearances from the Cell line Potential Leeds headliner. For my contents page, I pastiched the layout from a contents page from Q magazine. The idea of the issue number being at the top of the page was on here, and I thought it would look effective on my magazine. However, I changed it slightly by separating the masthead and the issue number, by creating a box for it, and also including the date. On my contents page, I also included columns of text to place the actual content of my magazine in. This made it look neat, more organised and easier to read. I pastiche where I put the columns from the Q magazine, as I thought the columns on the left looked well with the images on the right. In the columns I have created two sections, one for features and one for regulars. I did this to create a variety of content displayed. My font type throughout the contents page is both serif and sans serif. However, serif is only used in the top left corner where it says the date in a Times New Roman font. I didn't want to go over the top with this font because I thought that it would be hard to read since the content font is quite small, therefore sans serif would be better. My house style is shown a lot more on my contents page because there is black, red and white all over the page. I did this here because a contents page doesn't have to be visually different every time, and the magazines I was using to pastiche always had their house styles on their contents pages. I have included quite a few images on my contents page. All of these images are candid, and on my largest image I have placed some text in order to create an anchorage for more information to the reader. The contents pages I have been pastiching include images with anchorages, and I think this is an effective convention of a contents page as it is a way of including more information in a limited space. I have also included a subscription offer on this page. This is an advertising piece so that my magazine can gain readers that will stick with this magazine, therefore the company gaining more profit. Subscription offers are a popular convention with contents pages and appears on the contents pages I have pastiched. For my title page, I used an existing one from Kerrang magazine in order to pastiche some of its codes and conventions. I like this existing title page because it had the title on one page and an image on the other. My title page included a large landscape image to create the background. I edited this picture using Photoshop by blurring out the background to make my model stand out more and also adjusting the vibrancy and brightness. This image connotes the rule-breaking ideology of indie kids and also connotes her dominance as she is standing tall in a very show-off pose. I also included a slug on the title page of the two pages stating exclusive interview with a bright yellow background in order to catch the reader's eye and also make the interview seem very important to try and get the audience to read it. I included a large title in bright yellow, sans serif font to stand out from the natural forest background, with a byline underneath explaining more about the interview and expanding on the title for more information for the reader. For my double page spread, I pastiched an existing one from the NME magazine. I like this existing double page spread particularly because of the image, as it signifies the genre of my music magazine, and it also involves the subcultural capital, said by Sarah Thornton in 1995, of a cigarette. In my double page spread, I included columns to place my text in. I only used two columns, but they are separated by a thick, long pink line. My columns included questions and answers from the interview of the singer. This is in the teacher-to-pupil mode of address because the artist is being asked questions and is expected to give a response. I also included a drop capital in my lead paragraph at the beginning of the two columns in order to mark how exclusive the interview is. I included a slug on the left-hand side page, the same one as on my title page but with a different colour representing the theme and the person being interviewed. On this page I also included a pull quote from the interview article that states, "I am not just any indie artist, I am Alice Cole." I chose this quote because it connotes dominance and matches the dominant picture in the background. For my title I used two fonts, one sans serif and one serif. I did this as it relates to the textual significance of the name Alice, with the poem of the film title, Alice in Wonderland, but with the Wonderland crossed out and replaced by underneath with the dominant text of the city Leeds. I did this to connote the rule-breaking subculture of indie fans, and because Leeds is a big indie city, and it also relates to the interview going on about the Leeds Festival. In the rest of my interview, I have used a sans serif font in order to make it clear to read. I place an image the size of one side of my double page spread on the left-hand side, and I placed a pull quote from the interview on it, following the colour scheme of the interview. The image I took of the model connotes an ideal self for the readers, as she is looking very dominant, and the pose she is doing looks as if the reader is literally looking up to the model, because she has her head held up high, connoting the preferred reading of my magazine.